catch light. It'll change the way you watch stuff. It'll change the way you want to create your imagery. Catch light, it brings people to life. It really does. Look at that shot. She looks so gorgeous and earnest, and there's so much to it. But guys, if those eyes are off, if those eyes don't have light, this shot sucks. Thank you guys for sticking around. Luckily, I didn't offend you guys. Maybe I did. Maybe you're sticking around to insult me back. But what I want to go through is some shots right now. These are shots you haven't seen. There are a few that are out there. I've done some videos, and if you guys want to look at some of those shots, I can do that. But I wanted to share this shoot with you because I haven't put this out on YouTube yet. It's going to go out on YouTube, and it's really emblematic of how you can use the flash. This is one Neo 2 that I shot. One Neo 2, and this is this is called the Glendalough Graveyard in Ireland. It's this beautiful, 13th century graveyard church, creepy, cool looking place in Ireland. Let me explain something else about why I love this setup. Believe me, when I tell you there's a reason as to why I use the gear that I use, there are many reasons, and all of them are very important to me. What happens when you guys take a light, a monolight, a C-stand, a beauty dish, sandbags? What happens?
The cops are called. The
cops, right? Especially if you are anywhere near me, the cops are going to come, okay? I've had the cops come countless times, as you guys know. More videos, more times than you guys possibly. We had the cops come on the photo walk last night. And so I'm looking for options that allow me to do more run and gun type photography where I can get some great stuff. And I can get in and out without worrying about all these people, cops. Well, I say these people, I'm talking about cops and security with, making a fuss about things. Typically, we can get away with a setup with a tripod. The general public is accustomed to seeing tripods. They usually don't have as much of a heart attack about it. If you guys have watched my video where we got thrown out by the cops twice in San Francisco within the span of an hour, both times they cited the reason for us getting kicked out was the fact that we had a C-stand, and they said anytime you put the lighting modifiers on, we're going to tell you have to leave. Do you know what I tell people now when they show up? I have my little tiny Sony mirrorless camera with my little tiny Neo light. I tell them I'm not a professional. Professionals have all the big gear. I can't afford any of that. Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, they really believe it. It's great. I use monopods that actually have feet on the bottom. There's two that I've used over the years. One is made by Fiesel. The other one is made by a company. I can't pronounce their name, but it's the name of that. It's Surrey or whatever. I have a Fiesel monopod and I have a Surrey monopod, right? And they both have feet on the bottom. So what I do is I put the monopod down and I fire. And I put the Neo 2 on top of it. And you're going to see that in the video, either using the tripod or the monopod. What happens when we take a flash and we put it outdoor with a modifier and it's just a tiny bit windy? What happens? Boom.
Colorado.
Yeah, the Great Sand Dunes shoot, right? I can't believe I didn't destroy my Sony flash. They fall over. Anytime we modify anything, the light falls over. And then you could say, somebody watching this online is going to say, well, then you just put sandbags. Again, that's not what most of us are going to do. You guys, I really want to hammer this home. I'm not trying to praise my own channel. You don't have to watch my channel. But when you guys watch channels and they're doing these setups that are so over the top, that is not what 90% of photographers are going to do. You're not. I got frustrated watching YouTube videos. This guy goes into the desert and sets up 30 speed lights. I'm like, what the hell, man? I don't even have enough money for 2. 30 speed lights, that's cool to watch, but it's not relatable. I'm trying to produce content for you guys that is relatable. You guys can say, yeah, that makes sense. I can go buy that. I may have to save for a month or 2, but I could realistically go buy that. And I could go do a shoot like Jason did. I try to produce my content with that in mind. I keep thinking, if I bring out a big crew, all these different lights, everything else, it's going to be difficult for people to relate to this. I don't want that. When I'm doing stuff like this, I'm walking into a graveyard, and you're going to see, because that camera that we're filming with, you'll see this in the video, it crashed, just like in the Great Sand Dunes. I mean, I'm always breaking stuff. I don't do it for entertainment value. It just happens. That's actually what real photography is like. Stuff happens. So I take her into the graveyard and I set up a single Neo without any diffusion. And that light is about 3 feet from her. And these are the shots that I'm getting. Stunning shots. Stunning shots. Now, when I set the lighting for this, the first thing that I'm doing, guys, is the biggest mistake a lot of photographers make is that they set the light, they set their key light first. That's not the right way to light. I am at the point in my career where I'm very comfortable saying what's right and what's wrong. And I don't care I could care less what any other photographer on the planet has to say. If you want to get shots like this, I'm telling you how I get them. You do not get shots by first worrying about your key light. You have to worry about your ambient. What happens when you worry about your key light before you worry about your ambient light? You either blow out the background or the background's way too dark. It's one of the two. You have to learn to light for your ambient and then add light. See, I call this the pixie dust. The Neo 2 is the pixie dust for me. It's that little touch, that little kiss of light to just make it, you know what I mean? It takes it from being a natural light shot that doesn't have that, so many times we light and then we bring that light in so hard, that's the wrong way to light. It is. Now there's certain types of photography, fashion and stuff where they really want that hard edge light, that's fine. How many of you guys in the room shoot high-end fashion photography? That's what I thought. Nobody raised their hand. Again, I'm speaking to the 80% of photographers who are watching YouTube and the 80%, 90, 100% of people who attend these seminars. Yes, there's some guys out there shooting for Vogue. Not many people shoot for Vogue. So I'm talking to y'all who want to learn lighting. So when I go out to light, I'm worried about, I want to get it as perfect as I can with natural light, and then I add my light in where natural light falls short. That's what you do, guys. The shoot that I did with Maddie in London, when people said it didn't even look like you were using light, that's the essence of great lighting, when you can't tell where it's coming from. Back to my examples with movies. Do you watch a movie and you're like, wow, that's a lot of light coming in? No. You get absorbed in the moment because the lighting is awesome. That's what makes a great movie. That's what makes great lighting. Again, we're not talking about bad plots and all that. We're just talking about the lighting part of a movie. When you watch a great movie and it absorbs you aesthetically, it's because nothing's distracting you, right? Their lighting diagram, their lighting pattern isn't off. You know what I mean? And that's the way we do this light. So I'm gonna just start preparing to shoot her like this and then add a little bit of light. Okay, so I'll show you guys some shots. Now, just so you guys, and you'll see the video on this. When was this shot? Now, this is Ireland, and this is Ireland, UK, all that area of the world. It's never sunny. Just you just should know that, right? I think they get sun once a decade. Okay, so it's usually overcast. Oh well, you can't shoot the Neo 2 unless it's overcast. Why are you shooting at midday sun? Bueller. Okay, why are you shooting at midday sun? Good photographers don't. That's what I'm trying to preach, guys. Okay? When I see clouds outside, I get excited. Because now God has diffused the light for me. I can walk outside with my light and go, booyah. And I look like a bad boy because all I'm doing is light and God's taking care of the majority of the work. I walk outside, get a great light, I'm out to work. Furthermore, I can put that Neo 2 just right in my backpack with my lens, with the modifier on it. And inside of my backpack, I have a complete lighting kit with camera, lenses, everything out the door. No big octabox, no big C-stand, nothing. I can carry my monopod, I can carry a tripod, and I can go. You'll see this in the video. You'll see how we did this. Look at these shots, guys. Isn't it crazy? Now look at the catch light. If you compare this, you say, well, why wouldn't you just shoot this natural light? What misses when there is good diffusion? What does natural light miss? Catch light. It's not there. It's not there. That's how you create great light. You guys, again, I've broken record. Back to movies. You watch great movies. Do they have dull eyes? Go home and watch a movie tonight. Watch a TV show. Watch for catch light. It'll change the way you watch stuff. It'll change the way you want to create your imagery. Catch light. It brings people to life. It really does. Look at that shot. She looks so gorgeous and earnest, and there's so much to it. But guys, if those eyes are off, if those eyes don't have light, this shot sucks. It sucks. Okay? The composition is there, the pose is there, but if the lighting's off, and let's say I just shoot this natural light, how would this look different? It would be similar in regards to ambient exposure, but her eyes would not have any pop to them. And the lack of pop in the eyes would be the difference maker in this shot. Okay? All of these shots, guys, all day, every day. Right? So you asked, I purposely do some shots for YouTube just to illustrate the power of the light, because people ask, well, how much light does it actually produce? Or is it all natural light? There are certain shots that I pump up the volume, so to speak, and I show you guys just how much is coming in from the flash versus ambient. So you can tell that that flash is coming in on the left side of her versus the shadowing that's occurring on the other side. That's also important because in photography, we do want to have shadows. Shadows, when we have shadows with our lighting, what does that do to our subjects?
Depth.
Gives depth, it thins them, it's more flattering. If we have completely broad lighting all of the time, it can accentuate the size of someone. It can accentuate any skin flaws, minus frequency separation. Okay? It can do a lot of things. So in camera, if we're trying to flatter people, we are constantly trying to find ways to thin them, is the truth. Yep. This is one Neo 2. Just one Neo 2. Okay? This is undiffused. You tell me one flash in the world you're going to fire undiffused and get that. It blow out everything. So when people talk to me about guide numbers and about lux and lumens, I'm like, y'all are on some serious cocaine. It doesn't matter. What matters is how it looks. Yep.
I'm curious about how far approximate you have your light in some of these shots.
Great question. How far away was it? You'll see in the video, I'd say at this point it's probably 6-7 feet would be my estimate. I mean, we'll know when we watch the video. Yeah. And going through and looking at some of these other shots, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you look at the fall off that's coming, right in around her face right here. It's just beautiful lighting, guys.
Now, not using the flash?
This is all in flash. Yes.
Is there any, just the flash part, not constantly?
The constant LED is on, but because the flash is more powerful, I use the constant LED to acquire focus. People have always mentioned that to me. How do you gain focus? I know I spoke about this briefly, but I've always used LEDs. So for me, it's just common sense. Turn on an LED and get focus and fire. I don't understand. It was only when I really started getting more advanced and I started to try to use all these different flashes. I remember the first time I tried to use an advanced flash system at a reception, and then I was depending on my focus assist on my camera, and I wanted to throw it across the dance floor. I hated it. Yeah, so in regards to triggering the Neo 2, there's the Skyport system, which is made by Elechrome, which is proprietary. It means it communicates directly with the receiver inside of the Neo 2. So you can adjust the power ratios, you can adjust the color directly from your transmitter. And yes, you can fire the flash at different flash durations and different flash output for power ratios, just like you can on a traditional speed light. I'll be straight up with you guys. My technique is very simple. I fire it at full power every time. We've been trained to not fire at full at 1-to-1 for a number of reasons when we use speed lights. What are those reasons?
Batteries.
What's that? Batteries, right? Recycle time. Not to mention the fact if you owned like an SB900, it'll sing a song to you when it overheats. I had that happen to me on the big island of Hawaii during a wedding. The bride said to me, "Why is your camera singing?" I wanted to throw that flash in the ocean so bad. I was furious at it. Okay? So when you say I fired at full power, so many people really miss the boat when I'm talking about this technology, because they constantly keep going back to how we have been trained to do it over the last 30, 40 years with flash. You got to retrain the way you think about it. Just like I said, when I switched from DSLR to mirrorless, you got to rethink how we do this. We have all these systems out here, these flash benders and all these things that we're supposed to put on our flash. How about a system where we just put it on and it just looks awesome? Right? That's where I'm at. Y'all, I'm successful at photography because I find the most efficient ways to work. You want to make more money? Become more efficient. For this shot, I put the Neo right here on through the brick. Okay. And one thing, if you guys have watched some of my videos, you'll see me put these Neos everywhere. I'll put them on walls. I'll put them everywhere. Okay. This was just in the middle of this little. I just put it on the stones inside of here to fire the flash. But if you look at all these shots, guys, look at the catch light. Look at that fall off. Look at how the shadowing comes down, just so soft. Do you see what I'm talking about when I talk about mimicking? It's like natural light with a little bit of steroids added to it. It's natural light with some pop. So you guys were asking about how the flash illuminates. Look at her, right? What happens when we fire, traditionally, when we fire flash straight up against somebody on a wall? What does it do? Shadows. Nasty shadows. Do you see nasty shadows? I did not clone any shadows out in post. Why is there a difference? Why am I not getting nasty shadows on her? It's because of the throw and the spread of the light. It's because it has such a wide pattern, it doesn't throw a nasty, harsh shadow on her. Guys, this is how you make your life easier. This is how you make more money. We're going to get into, this is probably, and you can tell that the light is finding her all the way down, all the way up. It's very universal. So when you guys have been asking the question about, well, how does the light feel in? Guys, this is probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in Ireland when we shot this, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was overcast, but that's when I would shoot anyway. Or I would go outside right now and cut the light by 2 stops, and I would fire and I'd get the same results. So how do we mitigate nasty shadow when we use traditional strobe or monolight? How do we mitigate it? Yes, you could clamshell or use reflector. That is very true. But if you're just straight up just trying to do it, you feather the light, right?
You're going to move it up to the section.
Where we kind of tilt it up and we kind of,
you have to play with it for an hour.
You have to play with it until you get it right. I didn't do any of that with this shot. I can't tell you how many shots over the years that I have loved that I see this shot, but then there's a nasty shadow directly behind her. Because let's just be honest. If I put a great monolight or a speed light on this and I fired with the right amount of diffusion, would the light be beautiful? Yes, because I know how to do that. But I would give it up at the expense of putting a shadow on the ground behind her. Don't tell me that's your artistic expression. That shadow is not good. It's not. Think of Hollywood. That's what I want you guys to think about. Now, if I shot this just natural light, the difference in the shot would be I'd expose for all of the ambient here, but then she would be underexposed. How would a natural light only photographer expose for this scenario? Precisely. So when they expose for Maddie's face, what happens to all the sky?
It's blown out and you lose all the detail.
That's correct. Anything that is brighter than her face is gone. Right? So if I expose for her face and I have to bring that up, the dress is gone, the sky is gone, everything's gone. I lose it all. Same thing here, guys. We're not going to get that sky if we're not using flash. And I want to make something clear. This was shot with the 11 to 24. So this is at 11 millimeters. So that flash is not close. It was getting a little bit darker, so I wanted to pull the flash away so I could get I wanted the whole church in the shot. Okay, so I pulled it back. So guys, I'm going to give you a demonstration with the Neo 2 now. You guys still here? Hello? Talking to you. Hey guys, if you want to learn online with me, go to patreon.com/JasonLanierPhotography, and you will be able to continue this craziness online from anywhere on planet Earth with me. If you want to join me live, go to JasonLanier.com/workshops, and you'll get to see me in my full glory live and in person, guys. I think there's a smudge on there. Is that it? Yeah, I got it. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.